Kirk McLean here, and you're watching Clay's Canucks Commentary.
Hey Canucks fans, and welcome to Clay's Canucks Commentary Live, presented to you by Van City Experts Real Estate. I am your host, Clay Emo Canuck Clay, and this is my Canucks take, all in one take, for Tuesday night, January the 16th. If you're new, here's what you should do. Hit the subscribe button now for daily Canucks insight that's positive, timely, and trustworthy. Hello, everyone, and welcome. As I put in the comments or in the chat, where are you watching from right now? Hello to everyone on YouTube. Also, hello to everyone on Facebook as well, trying this out for this week as an experiment. So I think we are live on Facebook. I sure hope so. And then also everyone watching on Instagram as well. Don't forget Facebook. The comments underneath the video do go directly to my feed. Comments from Instagram just kind of get lost in Instagram and they don't get to my feed. So if you're watching on Instagram, that's awesome. Make sure you pop over to the YouTube site, Canuck Clay, and then watch it there. It's a lot easier to interact. But if you only want to hang around on Instagram for a few minutes, that is fine as well. Moderators, do what you need to do to keep this a safe and respectful place. Members, as legends, Hall of Fame and franchise members, thanks for your support. And to everyone else, no matter where you're watching from, whether in my beautiful neighborhood of Steveston and Richmond, in the city, Lower Mainland, province, country, continent, or around the world, thank you for being here. You know that you could be doing anything else, watching anyone else, getting ready for work, school, or better, all three. But the fact that you are here with me right now on a Tuesday night where the Canucks didn't even play, know how much I always appreciate you. And I never, ever take you for granted. By the way, I love everyone's typing in where they're watching from, which is amazing. I will say, Clifford, I think you just commented on one of my videos tonight. And Clifford says, hi, everyone. I am new, just found the channel. Well, everyone, let's give Clifford a really big hello, a big welcome from the CCC, the Clay's Canucks Commentary crew. Love to have you here, Clifford. I hope you come to the streams more often. Carol, starting us off amazingly. I'll get to that in a second. So this is how you can get involved tonight. You can subscribe so you can get active in the chat section and get notified of my videos every single day. You can like the video. 40 of you in here already on a non-game night. Not bad, not bad. So let's get those likes up to 20. You guys know how much I like that 50% rule. You can also leave a donation. You can gift memberships like Carol has just done. I'll get to that in a second. You can also buy your own membership or upgrade your own membership. All those ways you can support me. I appreciate that. And if you're listening on a podcast platform, make sure you rate and review. Also, vote in the poll question, which is going to be the basis of my first part of the show. Should the Canucks go all in? Should Allvin go all in this season for a Stanley Cup run? And yeah, this is what we're going to do then. I will go for the first 15 or 20 minutes and give both sides, the pros and cons of going all in this season. Then I'll do my mid-show sponsor read, and then I'll turn it over to all of you to get your feedback to this particular question. And then don't forget, because tonight is Tuesday night, this is my church night. I'm wearing my church shirt of love God, love people. And yes, it's my prayer hour. So if you need prayers, you can message me as well. And I have my weekly prayer hour from midnight until 1 a.m. where I do my very best to find out. No, I don't find out. Do my very best to stay awake. And what I am going to do is I'm going to pray for many of you who've asked for prayers, especially Carol. And Carol says this: I'm going to the doctor tomorrow morning. Yes, please text me, Carol, after your doctor's appointment to find out about your leg. Absolutely. Also, with so many of you guys here, which is awesome. What I want to do is I want to acknowledge Carol's generosity as we start off tonight. Carol Bovelander, the legend herself, gifts 5 memberships, which is the equivalent of a $25 donation. Welcome to the Clay's Canucks Commentary crew. Welcome to the CCCC. Dylan, RP88, Daniel, who I recognize. Actually, I recognize all these names. RP88. Elizabeth Nelson might be new. Welcome, Elizabeth. And Frank X. Actually, forgive me if I'm wrong, Dylan, Elizabeth, and Frank. I don't think you are here very often. And tonight was a great night to come because you actually were gifted a 1-month franchise membership from Carol. Another time, I'll explain what all those perks are, but you can just check that out on my channel as well. Go to the community tab or the membership tab, and I'll tell you all about it. So once again, thank you, Carol. Let's give Carol some much deserved love in the chat, and welcome to all 5 of those members. Hey, Lauren, nice to see you. Lauren, an ex-legend, not ex as in former, as in ex, the former Twitter. Didn't realize I was subbed to your YouTube channel until now. Okay, great. Well, better late than never, or actually you that's not even correct because you've been subbed. You just didn't realize. So better recognition late than never. Welcome, Lauren. Nice to see you, and I'm glad you are in Victoria. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. Okay, friends, I'll go for the first maybe 10 to 13 minutes, and then plenty of time for all of your comments. And right now, it looks like 64% of you are saying yes, the Canucks. By the way, Janice just joined. Janice is talking to my daughter, Kayla, right now, so I don't know how she's multitasking. I see Janice joined on Instagram along with many of you. Instagram, it's funny. People go in and out. Very short attention span for people on Instagram. They kind of go in and out for a few seconds. Facebook, similar thing because, like I said, really trying to push everyone to the YouTube side. So the arguments for going all in versus not going all in this season. And I don't think it's obvious as one might think. And right now, yeah, 62% of you, 61% now are saying yes, it's they should go all in. And I guess 39% of you aren't. By the way, it's funny. Now I just saw Kayla come on the stream on Instagram. Hello, Kayla. Shouldn't you be studying? Oh, no, you're talking to Janice. That's okay. Then I see Matthew from my workplace on Instagram. And then Harry and Ricky, I think, are doing the triple crown. They're doing Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. But I shouldn't get distracted. I should really focus here. So I'm gonna outline the argument why the Canucks should go all in this season. And then I'm also going to give the counter of why they might not go all in this season. Because I think it's natural to look at the standings and say, well, no kidding, Clay. Of course they should go all in. They're battling for number 1 overall. They have a big lead in the Pacific Division. They are battling for number 1 overall. So yes, let's talk about why the Canucks should go all in. And then let's talk about why they shouldn't go all in. And then for the second half of the show, I want to hear from you. But you can write in the comments right now already. I just might not get a chance to acknowledge it right away. Okay. The case for going all in this year. No one expected the Canucks to be battling for first overall halfway through the season. No one. And if anyone says that, oh, I could have predicted this, tell them they are the biggest liar in the world. So now they are past the halfway point. They're 44 games in, and the Canucks are 18 games over 500. So if the Canucks, for the last 38 games, if the Canucks, for instance, went 19-19, they went exactly 500, they are going to finish with 100 points. Yeah, that's how much goodwill, how big of a lead they've built up. So the case for going all in is we are way better than we expected. We are 7 points up on Vegas atop the Pacific Division. We have 5 all-stars on our lineup. And yes, 4 of them were voted in. It doesn't matter. 5 all-star caliber players in Quinn Hughes, Elias Pettersson, Brock Besser, JT Miller, and Thatcher Demko. We have a coach who's coming up to his 1-year anniversary who's likely going to win the Coach of the Year. We have the best goal differential in the entire league. We are healthy right now. Knock on wood or pray, or if you're superstitious, do whatever you want to do. We are very healthy right now. There's chemistry, there's structure, there's systems. Rick Tockett's favorite line of meet pressure with pressure. You're never going to win every single game. So for the Canucks to have only 11 outright losses, the third fewest in the entire league, everything is going right. You could say we might not replicate this success again. We might not be in this spot again. So why waste this opportunity? Why not make a big splash at the trade deadline? Why not go for it? Because there's no guarantee that we're going to be in the spot again. We could be almost as good next year, but in Edmonton or in LA or Vegas could win the division next year. And I'm not saying the Canucks are guaranteed to win the division right now, but they are the odds-on favorite to win the division. And the important thing about winning the division is you get home ice for the home ice advantage for the first 2 rounds of the playoffs. And we know how important home ice advantage is, especially for a game 7. Usually it works out for game 7, not always. And we know our own history with that. But this could be the year. Patrik Allvin, in an interview with Ian McIntyre of Sportsnet, also said that this almost like he said he owes it to the players. And what he means by that, if the players are playing so hard and they're working so hard to do very well, and they're doing everything that the coach asks, most importantly, everything that management asks. And so when a GM says, I owe it to the players to give them a chance to win, he's kind of saying the same thing that I've been saying for the last 4 or 5 minutes, is this might not happen. They've reached a really neat part in the way that in their chemistry and so on and so forth. So there's a lot of reasons. If the GM is saying flat out, he didn't say that he's going to blow up the team or do something crazy, mortgage the future, and those are all reasons why you don't want to go all in necessarily. But if the GM is out there saying, I owe it to the players, then that's another, and he's saying it publicly, the players are going to hear that. So they almost build in an expectation that something will be done. It's not because something needs to be done, but this team isn't perfect. So another reason why you would go all in is maybe you want a second line center if you want to keep the Lotto line together, or maybe you get a second line winger like a Jake Gensel to beef up that second line, because right now, if you keep the Lotto line together, Suter, Mikheyev, and Kuzmenko simply aren't cutting it. And it's not because individually they're bad players. I just don't think they have the chemistry right now. Another reason to go all in is you might not have, if you think this is the best the roster is going to be, you might not have this roster next season. Yes, you're going to re-sign PD. Who knows if it's short-term, long-term, or who knows if he just takes his 1-year RFA year, which I hope not. That's the worst. You're likely going to sign Filip Hronek because he's an RFA as well. But there's a bunch of UFAs that are on this team that there's no guarantee they're coming back. Teddy Bluger, he's been awesome in the bottom 6. Maybe he prices him out past a $1.9 million raise. Maybe Sam Lafferty, maybe dispensable a little bit, but he's going to want to raise. How about Dakota Joshua, only making $825,000? You know he's going to want to raise to the high ones or even $2 million mark. Tyler Myers, make fun of his contract all you want. He's pretty solid. We know Rick Tocchet loves him. He might not be here next year. Nikita Zadorov might not be here next year. He's a UFA. Ian Cole might not be here next year. Mark Friedman might not be next year here next, and Casey DeSmith. So Casey DeSmith, who's providing great backup goaltending, and he's got to be an insurance for the playoffs. So you have 8 players, more than 1/3 of the players are unrestricted free agents, saying that they might not even. There's no guarantee. In fact, it's impossible that all 8 of those guys can come back, because you usually don't ask for a pay cut. You usually ask for a raise, and the Canucks still have to pay their RFAs, namely Elias Pettersson and Filip Hronek. So for all those reasons, you could say, I think the Canucks need to go in this year. And if it means giving up or paying, if it means having to trade one of our high prospects or a high draft pick, who knows? Who knows if those guys are going to work out? Who knows if those guys are going to develop as NHL players? We know that the guys that have the players, the guys that are playing right now, are indeed NHL caliber players. Okay, so that is the argument for going all in this season. And I see that actually as the longer I talk, maybe it has nothing to do with me talking, because it's weird. I'm talking about why they should go all in, and the percentage in the poll is dropping from 100%. It started off, well, I guess so, because you have one voter. Now it's only at 58% go all in, and it's only it's only 42% not go all in. Hey, Derek, nice to see you. Derek's on Instagram. So Derek, and everyone on Instagram, Drew as well, your messages actually don't feed into my streaming software. I have to have Instagram up on one of my computers. It's funny. I have 4 computers. One is Instagram, one is Facebook, one is YouTube, and one has my actual stream. So Not going to get a chance to message you directly in Instagram, but thank you to everyone watching there. Facebook, if you type there, it does feed into my streaming app. I think Jay is on all three platforms as well. So that's the argument for going all in. Now, here's a few arguments for not going all in this season. Number one is this might not be the best team that we're going to have. You might see inefficiencies on this team with the salary cap going up. Yes, I know you have to sign Hronek and, of course, Elias Pettersson, but you might say that the Canucks should be able to upgrade in some of their positions. If you think there's a better fit than Tyler Myers, who's cheaper, if you think there's someone better than Zadorov, who's cheaper, even better than Kuzmenko or Garland. So whatever, whoever you think, you might think that there's actually room for this team to get better in the future. And why then? So another part of that is people that don't, and Lauren mentioned it among others, is Daniel, I'm using Streamlabs, is a StreamYard. A lot of times when you trade for what you call a rental player, a player who's only got 1 year left on his contract, for instance, like Jake Gensel, who makes $6 million, the asking price for Jake Gensel, for instance, is going to be a player, a prospect, and a pick. So what player do you want to give up? For instance, a Niels Höglander. I don't think Kuzmenko, I don't think Podkolzin gets you Gensel. But for instance, let's say it's Höglander, it's Lekkerimäki, and it's our first round draft pick. We'll be in the top 5 or bottom 5 or bottom 10. For a guy you're going to have for 20 games and a playoff run, and you may or not win the cup. So that's the argument against trading draft picks or trading your best prospects, which you have. I always say you have to give up quality to get quality. So number one, you might think that this team can be better in the next 2 or 3 years, even better than this year. They might not have the same standings. They might not be, second overall at halfway through the season, but you might actually think that you can compose a better, more balanced team going forward. So then why would you give up a Lekkerimäki, a Tom Willander, a DPD, even though he's not as big of a prospect? Why would you give up someone like Niels Höglander, who's on a really good, efficient contract? He's got 12 goals this season in limited minutes on a bottom 6 role. Why would you give those guys up? In fact, those are the kind of guys you need if you're going to lose other UFAs. So there's one argument why you should not go all in this season. Another argument would be is as well as we're playing, you could argue that Winnipeg, Boston, even Edmonton, Rangers, there's all these teams that are just as good as us. And even they're, for whatever reason, they're given higher playoff odds than we have right now. So it's no guarantee just because we're in second overall in the league right now that means we're going to go to the cup final because we're the second best. Well, we can't because the first best team is Winnipeg, but you know what I'm saying? There's no guarantees right now. So that's another trick about going all in this season. And here's the biggest reason why someone might say, don't go all in this season. And then I'll make this point, then I'll get to all of you. Is I can't remember which show I was listening to, but it was a respected former coach or former GM or former player, whatever it was. And he made the point that once you get to the Stanley Cup playoffs, it's really 16 teams that have a chance to win. And it's really a coin flip because series are so close. The margins are so narrow. And I'm not just saying LA that year they came in 8th, or St. Louis that 2019 where they went from last to first or whatever it was. Those are exceptions. Those are not the norm. So I get that. But remember, only one team wins the Stanley Cup. 15 teams that make the playoffs are going to be disappointed. And there's another 16 teams who don't even make the playoffs. So it goes without saying, only one team wins. And would you rather be a contender for just this season and this season only by trading away, for instance, a Höglander and a Lekkerimäki in a package for a rental who might not stay after the season, versus, if you think that weakens the team, versus staying at a high level, a consistent level every year, year after year, like Boston? How many times has Boston missed the playoffs since 2011 compared to us? Only maybe once, was it? If that. So do you want to be like a Boston or Colorado now, who's a Tampa, who's always at least battling to be in the playoffs? So going all in this year may hurt your chances to stay strong in future years. So I just wanted to provide that balance, that opposite side, because right now when I think about it, I think if I was pressed, I would say, yeah, what you should go all in this year, because there's a lot of chemistry, and there's a really good feeling around the team right now. So if I had to vote on this poll, I would say yes. But I can also see many, many reasons why we would say no. Yeah, maybe it was Frank Cervelli who said that. I can't remember. So let me go to my mid-show sponsor read, and then I'll get to all of you and all of your questions and your comments. So thank you everyone for watching on Facebook. Thank you everyone for watching on Instagram, and of course the majority of you watching on YouTube. Shout out to my primary sponsor, Van City Experts Real Estate. Contact Jason Lim and his team for all of your real estate needs. Shout out to my secondary sponsor, Perform and Transform Personal Training Weight Loss. You can check them out at ptforum.com. Thank you to Gassy Jack Art, maker of that fine artwork. And thank you to Vessi Footwear. Use the link tinyurl.com/VessiClay and receive a free pair of socks off your next purchase of Vessi shoes. Looking for Canucks tickets? Email me at canuckclay@gmail.com. Don't forget my shows this week continue 11 p.m. tonight, Wednesday, and Thursday. And once again, I'm going to plug this Vegas trip because I heard of another 3 people that signed up today. So I know of at least 12 to 14 people now that are signed up through, not just because of me, but that I am aware of. And that's just me. So hopefully there's even more, but at least I know that there's 12 to 14 cool people that I'm going to go to Vegas with. It's a 4-day trip, 3 nights. March 31st to April 3rd. The game is on April 2nd. $999. You guys know it's airfare, 3 nights hotel, the Park MGM, and the game ticket. And most importantly, if you want to go, contact Neal Chark, Neal C at uniglobecarefree.ca. That's Neal C at uniglobecarefree.ca. And make sure you mention that you heard from me, because like I said, he is tracking where all of the sales bookings are coming from. Mid-show reminder to all of you to subscribe, to like the video, to leave a donation if you want, to gift memberships like Carol has done. Thank you, Carol. You can also become a member, upgrade your own membership. And if you're listening on a podcast platform, make sure you rate and review. Tonight is the night where I do have to wind up at 11:40. So let's go for 17 minutes, power packed 17 minutes. Second half of the show, starting now. Put in your comments, your questions, and do you think the Canucks should go all in this year? Thank you for the weather update, Ricky. Snow is really coming down now. Harry, what are your thoughts on the new All-Star t-shirts of the players on Van Base? They are great. Not the jerseys themselves, but the Canucks specific shirts. They look awesome. I took a look. Not sure which one I'm getting just yet, though. I'm usually not a big I do have quite a few t-shirts, but I don't necessarily go out and buy them right away. I'm pretty cheap, so I'll wait till maybe they go on sale if they do. Justin says, I say we should stick with this group or maybe make a small trade in case of injury. Oh, that's a good point. I never mentioned injury, which would build the case for going all in or not going all in. If you have a major injury and it hurts your chances, or minor to major injury and you can replace that. That's a really good point. Case of injury, to make whatever run we can and focus on giving and maximizing the playoff experience we can for the core. So Justin is a vote for don't going all in. Dries better than Aman. I don't think so, Nicholas. Oh, this one's coming from Facebook. Very good. I don't think so, Nicholas. I think Oman gives you more size and more potential, to be honest with you. Jasker and the family is doing well. Jacob and Sean bowled. Oh, by the way, I bowled tonight for the second time. I actually bowled a complete game. I bowled a 165, so not bad, not great, but not bad. And I felt way more confident than last week. But I'm not bowling in the Tuesday night league like usual, as you guys know. But I'm hoping to sub going forward. And I was able to get 2 games in tonight to work on my leg. But everyone is doing well. Thank you, Jaskrin. Jason, going all in sounds great in theory. You don't want to do too much, in my opinion. Every time I say emo, I think you're talking my last name. You're calling me out because it may disrupt team chemistry depending on what is done with the team. Depending on what is done with the team is doing so well. Must be very careful. Jay, that's good. That's a good cautionary tale. Not snowing Vancouver yet. Oh, interesting. I think Ricky's in Surrey, right? What would be the cost of Monahan? I think any type of rental player who's a veteran, you're probably looking at, well, it depends what type of player, actually. I don't know how That's a good point. Maybe 2 pieces. I don't think you can just get them for a draft pick, but maybe 2 pieces, not as expensive as a Gensel. Oh, it's not snowing in Surrey. So where's Ricky coming from? Because he said it's snowing hard. Where are you, Ricky? I should just go. Well, I'll be in my car in half an hour, so I'll see. Snowing in TOL. I'm lost. What abbreviation is TOL? Am I losing it? Tawasin on lock. No, what's TOL? I can see this team maybe doing moves similar to the 2011 team. Get depth like a Chris Higgins, Max Lapierre type players, but also get D depth. So you're talking about some moves for both forward and D. Am I getting concerned that PD doesn't want to contract? Yet Allvin apparently said it's a bit concerning. He didn't say it was concerning. What I read, Fangirl, is he said it's unusual that an RFA has basically shut down talks, but they do remain hopeful. So I am still not concerned yet. I'm not concerned. My worry about going all in is that the other gets possible impact players for the future. Meanwhile, the Canucks get a rental and basically lose this trade if they don't win the cup. Yeah, that's a big fear, Ricky, and that's a very, very big fear. Nick loves dries. Okay, now Nick's bouncing back to YouTube. He is killing it in the HL. Yeah, for sure. A lot of guys do well in the HL, though. It doesn't necessarily translate to NHL success. Is Zadorov really a glorified rental? Should he be resigned? I would agree with a lot of the experts saying he's going to want more than the Canucks are going to want to give him. I think he sees himself as a $5 million player. I see a lot of high risk, high reward with Zadorov. So I wouldn't say he's a glorified rental because we didn't give up too much. We basically gave up Bovili and a third to get him. I think that's okay if he doesn't resign, truly. I think you simply can't resign everyone. And I think this management group is smart enough to make the proper decisions. I really do. I think the Canucks should go all the way this season. Why not? At a good start of the season, why stop now? The goal was Allvin this year for the Canucks to make the playoffs, which they are. Yes, for sure. I say not all in. We don't even know if we can get by the first round. Anything can happen. It will be all for nothing if we get eliminated first round. I say add depth. Don't do too much. Okay, so there's a vote for don't go all in. I do not think they should go all in because you talked about the chemistry. Also, I think it would interrupt everyone's flow. That's fair. That's fair. UBC BCIT already canceled all classes. Oh, they did. SFU is slow as ever responding. They think people can brave a little snow on the mountain. Yeah, Justin. By the way, how's your first full day? Your second full day of being however old you are now. By the way, Justin, it was great having you on the show last night. Very, very good. Jacob, my second son is an SFU student. It's funny. Gail, me, Sean, my brother's wife, both my parents, all UBC students. Jacob was the first SFU student, but he's SFU downtown, not SFU on the mountain. Yeah, but check this out. My dad, my mom, me, and my brother, all 4 of us were UBC Business School. Dad, mom, and the 2 sons. Isn't that crazy? Erickson Eck. I don't mind him. I think he's a good depth piece. I think he's a great someone you want in the playoffs. He's not going to score you a bunch of goals, but he's Bluger-like, probably a bit better and can do a lot of things well. I do like him. He's tough to play against for sure. Does Pod stay for the AHL for the rest of the season, or are they using the trade bait? I think neither, EJ. I think he'll be up later in the season. I really do. North Delta. Harry, I think Jake Gensel, you're looking at 3 assets, a player, a prospect, and a pick. Angelo says, time for the cup run, all in. Rick, I want them all in because I want them to win a cup. I've been waiting 30 years. Yep, that's a great point. Some would say that this is the best time to do it. Langley, thank you, guys. Would rushing PD really be the best idea? I think they should give him as much time as he needs to make a decision. So he's 100% sure that he wants to stay here. That's a very good opinion, Kaya. Very smart. Waiting all my life for the cup and I'm over 50. That's true. I think the Canucks have only been around for 54 years, right? I still think Vancouver may do a hockey trade, like how they acquired Philip Hronek. And people are saying, well, what does hockey trade mean? Don't the Canucks play hockey? So every trade they make is a hockey trade. The term you hear hockey trade, it basically means when it's player for player, as opposed to a player for draft picks or a future. Just checking into the Instagram chat. Remember, these Instagram messages do not feed into my stream, so I have to read them separately. But wow, we actually have people on there. Kempner's in there. Hey, Rev Trev, I'm not interested in rental players because the cost is too much. Then we have Drum Inc. Yeah, so it's weird because obviously people don't have to. They don't have the same username on Instagram and or Facebook and or YouTube. No, Drumming. This is my third one that I've done on Instagram, and I just kind of do it more as awareness and try and push everyone to the YouTube feed ultimately. Do I think Kuzmenko, Lekkerimaki, and Willander will be moved during the trade deadline? No, maybe, no, and no. I do not think Lekkerimaki and Willander will be moved, and they shouldn't be moved. I don't think Zadorov is a $5 million player. That is fair. Heroic trade looks way better now. We doubted Allvin. Yeah, some people doubted Allvin. It seemed like a high cost, but look how good he's been playing. Dogwood would not go all in. Certainly wouldn't give up draft picks. The team as good as it is. Pick up a deal on a 2C. We're not building a champion. We're building a dynasty. See, there's a good long-term approach. Would I resign Myers for 1.5 or 2? I would, but he won't. There's no way. There's no way he's going from 6 million down to 1.5 million. There's no way. I don't think so. It would be stupid to trade one of our best prospects and a first and a good player, yet we might not even make it past the first round. That's the risk. Trade Juleson. He hasn't been phenomenal. Yeah, Tyler, you're not going to get anything for Juleson, though. You're going to get a 6 or 7 rounder. I'd rather just keep Juleson for the depth. Clay has a smart family. Sarah, I said we got through UBC Business School. I did not say that that we're really smart, though. What was your commute time when you went to UBC? Did you live on campus? No, I'm a mama's boy, Fillmore. I stayed at home all through UBC. Generally, the traffic wasn't as crazy then. You could probably do, UBC would still take 35 to 40 minutes, I think, because I was always going at rush hour. Love the cap hit for Eriksson Ek. He plays an all-around game with thrive under Chalkit. I agree with all of that, Nick. Dogwood is an SFU alum. Nice. Yeah, Tyler, if you're number 6 or 7 defenseman, you do not have to be phenomenal. You just have to not mess up, and Juleson hasn't been messing up. Zadorov will want 5+. Dickinson extension will also drive up Blueger and Joshua prices. DeSmith playing the way he is this season will also get a raise. Yes, yes, and yes. Remember they tried to trade JT Miller to Pittsburgh for Zucker and picks. Everything seems to be working out this season. We might not be as good next year, so we might have to go all in. So there's a vote for all in. Who would likely be resting in games by the end of the season? You know, hockey isn't like basketball. That's why basketball had to put those load management rules in. I think you might give a guy a game or two, but you're certainly not resting him for weeks at a time. I think I could see PD getting a game, Hughes getting a game, any of the defensemen really, actually. Would Vancouver target a D-man like Pesce or Murphy? Yeah, I think they should be going for some depth for sure. For sure. I'm going to bounce to this awesome donation. So let's recognize this. Thank you very much. Drum Inc. Long time no see, but your new name is Ice Ring Insight, or maybe it's you have 2 accounts and covering all bases. But regardless, thank you, Drum Inc. Nice to see you. Thank you for the $7 donation. Let's give Ice Rink, Drum Inc., I Stink, whatever you want to say. Let's give him some love in the chat. Thank you for your wonderful generosity. I really appreciate it. Let's get back to where we were. That's always a trick. I love doing it, but I can't find where I was. It's so good that we potentially take it easy by the end of the season instead of looking at the other side of a playoff team. Yeah, I can't believe where we are right now. I'd resign Myers for a bag of chips, but I do $2 million. Yeah, I would too. I don't think he would. Trade for Chychrun. I don't think we need him. Too expensive. What I think the Canucks need is a big, tough winger to put on the second line with Suter and Kuzi. Greenway. Yeah, and then he can not hurt our guys like he did to Lafferty. Based on the chat, it sounds like further north is snowing. North Burnaby, Township, Langley, South Surrey, Delta Dry. Do I get that right? Yeah, very good, Dogwood. You should become a meteorologist. I'm guessing Richmond usually is the last to get snow. When do you think the Canucks will extend Hronik's contract? Harry, I don't think they're going to worry about it until after the season. Shouldn't we play Hronik on a different line? His pumped up numbers will ensure expensive contract renewal. You know what's funny? Talking, I'm sure, does not want to split Hughes and Hronik up. Management, I'm sure they do. At the beginning of the season, did you think that only halfway through the season we would only be 36 points away from 98? No way. I picked them as 4th, not 1st. Myers is stupid to think he's worth anything over $2 million. I don't think that's fair. I think he's worth more than $2 million. He's not as bad as people say. In fact, he's been quite good this year. Canucks need to go all out, not all in. Myers finishes the year in Vancouver. He'll get more than 2, i.e. Goodbranson. I don't know who we will trade, but I would resign to Smith. Yeah, it depends if how confident they are in Seelovs. That's fair. How about Ratu and a high pick for Giroux retained to give him a shot at a cup? Could be a decent 2C. Yeah, I like Giroux. Who else mentioned that? Was it Parker? Someone mentioned Giroux as well. I think UFAs can be signed if Canucks can trade Kuzmenko Mikheyev at the end of the season. Yeah, that free up $11 million for sure. Let's hope Canucks get a solid top 6 before the trade deadline. That's fair. Okay, I got 5 more minutes. If you are giving up a massive haul to get a Gensler or Lindholm, you have to trade someone in the offseason or include someone in the deal so that you can re-sign the player. Great point, Cole. You got to shed some salary. And a lot of times there's no guarantee that rentals are going to re-sign. That's why they're rentals. No, what was Dickinson's new contract? Someone, I think Justin referenced it earlier. How much was it? Trade Garland or Kuzi? Yeah, depends what value they get back. That is $5 million, 4.9 for Garland and 5.5 for Kuzi. That's a lot of money. I'm not sure if their trade value right now though is equal to what they're getting paid, if that makes sense. Does trading Kuzmenko and Mikheyev even free up enough cap space? Oh yeah, for sure. But you got to get an efficient contract back. I think we just need to add size and grit. But if a trade to go all in were to happen, I'd be fine with the first and Podkolzin and another prospect going the other way. Okay. For me, it depends on the prospect, obviously. Konechny, I like that. I like him. By next season, some bloat might leave the team and prospects could be ready to join the team. I've never heard our players referred to as bloat. I saw an Instagram post about the Canucks not planning to trade Myers. I wonder what his new contract will cost if he does stay. Yeah, Sarah, and there's a third option. You don't trade him, but then you don't re-sign him and you let him walk for nothing. It's not the best asset management, but it might be this. Yeah, if they really want Myers for a playoff run, that's the risk they're going to have to take. I am going to the Blackhawks game. Even with no Bedard, I'm going to the Blackhawks game. That's the only game I'm going to of the next 5. Good night, Daniel. Thanks for being here. Oh, and it depends where you live. It depends where you live. Yeah, and Ice Rink, I heard what Boudreaux said about someone wanting him to play Hughes at center, and then he talked about it on the podcast saying he didn't mean to make such a big deal. He basically backtracked a little bit and said, everyone makes suggestions to the coach all the time kind of thing. So I think he kind of wanted to distance himself from the story. Does management really want to split up Hronek and Hughes? They do if they want to keep Hronek's number down. Do you think they will use the LTIR loophole so they can acquire a top player and while being over the cap? Ernest is not that simple in that there's no one else to put on LTIR and they're already using the space that they have. So I don't think the Canucks are going to do that for sure. It was Parker that mentioned Giroux. Thank you. Wouldn't need to shore up Ratu for Giroux. He might want out as it is. I think Lafferty needs to be good, Harry, as long as we don't think he's a top 6 player. What? Dickinson got 2 years, 8.5? That's crazy to me. Yeah, Clifford, I don't have it in front of me, but I remember vlogging about it. We have 7 picks, but they're not all our original picks. Kuzmenko for Monahan. Would I do that straight up? I do like Monahan's game. How's he doing right now? Sure. 8.5 over 2. That's nuts. I did hear about the charter plane. So after the Canucks got off the plane, the vehicle towing the chartered plane down the runway at South Terminal got stuck in grass. Keep Kuzmenko's getting better. We have a lot of time to figure out what to do before the trade deadline. No need to panic. That's true. We still have 6 weeks, 7 weeks. Yes. Plane was empty. Use Myers as our own rental. Yeah, he's being a very expensive rental. Has a team ever extended UFA and then traded that with the contract to the new team as part of a bigger package, or is it usually up to the new team to sort out extensions? Yes, it's very rare that the extension is done before, but you can always talk, wink, wink, nudge, nudge, and have an idea if the player is going to extend. Friends, it is yes, and your slap shot was amazing, Gentle Giraffe. Good job. Friends, I need to get going. I hate to end it with 110 of you in here, but It is indeed church night. So I need to get going. Wow, there's still like 2 people on Instagram, which is awesome. A few people on Facebook, which is great. Thank you, everyone. I really appreciate all of you watching, no matter where you're watching from. So tonight, I will have to do a quicker wrap up so I'm not late for my church hour. The poll ends with 2/3 saying yes, go all in, 1/3 saying no, don't go all in. Thank you to everyone who voted. And thank you, everyone, for being here. Moderators, for doing a good job. Didn't seem too busy, which is a good thing. Legendary Lucas Gates, legendary Carol Bovelander, legendary Andrew Chang, thank you for your support as well. Hall of Fame and franchise members, thanks for your support as well. And to everyone else who watched, who subscribed, who liked the video, thank you. I always appreciate you. I never take you for granted. Carol went over and above, gifting 5 memberships. We are now up to 95. So we're 5 away from 100, which is pretty cool. Of course, that number fluctuates a lot depending on when people join and not. But we're at 95 memberships, which is amazing. And thank you to Ice Rink Insight, i.e. Drum Inc. Thank you for your generous donation as well. Don't forget, my shows are Wednesday and Thursday at 11 p.m. Thank you to my sponsors, Advanced City Experts Real Estate and Perform and Transform Personal Training, Weight Loss. And on your way out, you can subscribe, like the video, leave a donation, become a member, upgrade your membership, gift memberships. And if you're listening on a podcast platform, make sure you rate and review. Friends, you guys are awesome. As always, stay safe, stay healthy, take care of yourselves, and take care of each other. And it really upsets me, you guys. I got to be honest with you. It really upsets me when my wife, Gail, gets mad at me for being lazy. It's not like I did anything. God bless. And go Canucks go. Booyah.